So everybody, welcome to my channel. Again, I want to apologize for uploading these videos a little bit late, like I've been telling everyone. Um, I'm really trying to find the medium between, uh, my professional life and my private consultations, as well as my videos here on my channel. So I am definitely, again, I'm very sorry, and I'm going to try to work the best I can around this and to actually make sure to come or put them up uh, before the month begins. So again, I hope you guys understand. Like always, comment, message, or private message me. Let me know which are the spreads that resonate best with you guys. So for now, we're going to be doing the 5 card spread, and this is for the sign. This is for the sign of Cancer. Um, I've been shuffling, and 4 already came out, so I'm just looking for one more. So again, this is for the month of October. Um, Cancers. Spirit, what are the messages? What are the messages for Cancers for the month of October 2016? Okay, this is my last shuffle. Okay. All right, Cancers. Seems to me, like this month of October, there's going to be a lot of emotional dealings for you guys. Not that there's anything, or not that that's not something you guys are used to, because Cancers are very emotional. But this is more on the mental level. Uh, so definitely, there's some endings. It can be in relationships, or it can be tied with job or careers. But there's definitely some type of endings. Anyways, for your air element, you have the karma. And the karma card is all about what goes around comes around, what goes up must come down. So for the month of October, because this is in your communication sector, this is definitely talking about perhaps if people have done you wrong in the past or have tried to do you wrong in the past. It's all going to come into light, meaning you will hear or you will be exposed or aware to any of their unfortunate situations, and it's kind of going to be like a glimpse or a reminder, like, I remember when that person did me wrong. So it's kind of like karma is knocking on the doors of those whom have done you wrong in the past. Also, because it is in the communications, how you communicate or how you will relate and communicate with others, this can very well be a guidance for you, or an advice. Basically, don't do, like us. We have this thing where we practice and we live by, which is, you know, uh, do what you will as long as you don't harm anyone, basically. Um, So this can also be interpreted as an advice for you, Cancers, for the month of October, which is definitely be very mindful of the things you put out to the universe. Be mindful of, you know, the dealings that you do, because it's definitely going to come back to you, and it will come back to you 10 times strong. That's the rules that I live by, and I mean, universe has taught me throughout the years to see it in that way. So be very mindful about it. Also, because it is in your air sector with communication, how we're going to relate with everyone throughout the month of October, this is also talking about um, whatever it is you've been doing or saying or hiding in a way, it will come back to light. Meaning, if there's something you've lied about, or there's something that uh, you have, been sneaky about or petty about and have been hiding or keeping it a secret or whatnot, um, be careful about it, because when I see this card, it's usually telling me whatever it is you've been trying to keep under wraps is definitely going to come out. And it will come out because it's in the communication sector. It's kind of an embarrassment. So just be careful of what you do, um, or what you've done in the past, uh, to try to maneuver that situation, because this can, signify. I mean, if you see in the pictures multiple of people in the eclipse, which is hidden, you know, once the eclipse is done, the sun radiates. So it's like whatever it is hidden, it shall be shined upon, or it shall come out in the open. Okay. So be very careful about that. And again, like I said, uh, this card I also related to some type of, secret you've been trying to hide, but coming out in the open in an embarrassment type of form for you. So just be very mindful and careful about that. With with business and money, uh, with business and money in the earth sector, you have the high priestess. And the high priestess is all about the unknown. It's all about listening to your intuition, being guided by your intuition, and taking steps, therefore, that are guiding you, or that will, I guess, guide you in the opposite direction of where you may find obstacles. Um, but this, the high priestess may also represent someone surrounding you, someone within your circle. As an earth sector, what this is saying, or what it's telling me, is basically, again, with the karma card next to it, be very careful about, like, your darkest secrets, or um just being very judgmental with people and judging them very quickly, and not really looking at yourself or seeing yourself in the mirror. Um, the high priestess is all about finding your truth, but in order to find your truth, you have to go within. Okay, so this can also represent, if there's any type of struggle, or if there's been any type of struggle as far as money wise, for those of you who are not employed at the moment, this is definitely encouraging you or asking you to go within yourself to actually find, not, just anything or any type of job just to bring income, but to actually look for something that within you comes naturally. So, an example, if you're very compassionate and a very giving person, then perhaps looking into some type of job where there is, either in the medical field, or in the teaching field, something where you're able to use those qualities and implement them in what you're doing. um, so again, like I said, going within yourself to being able to find what it is that you're more attuned to, so then you can bring it out, and it'll create, not just make you feel better, but it will also create, more money and abundance coming into your life. Um, Also, for those of you who are employed at the moment, the high priestess may very well represent you, or it can represent a person that you work around with or you're surrounded with. This is a very, very psychic person, a very intuitive person. It can also be someone within your family that you are very, like, strong connected with. Um, and this person is, like I said, very psychic, very able, and usually or actually 95% of the time, the high priestess dabbles into the mysticism and the esoteric. So if you're looking for some type of job, or if you feel that you have some type of blockage, as far as money wise, then this card is representing or encouraging you to seek out advice or seek out help from that person that, perhaps, their abilities are more sharper and more attuned, to help you remove those blockages in your life. Okay, Cancers. Now, for your challenge this month, the challenge in the challenge position, you have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is all about surrounding yourself with positive people, surrounding yourself with family. Um, every single card has a different representation basically on the cards that follow. This card to me, based on the Karma and the High Priestess, and now, the Three of Cups, what this is telling me is definitely surround yourself through the month of October with sisters or cousins, relatives that are around your same age, um, and that you're very connected to. Definitely spend quality time with them. You're going to be more social, you're going to be out there. And again, like I said, uh, sharing, and enjoying free time and social gatherings uh, with your friends or relatives. But as a challenge, what I do see this coming up, it can also represent being, I wouldn't say so much as judged, but more like being criticized. And this can represent, the three to me represents family. The Three of Cups, anyways, represents to me family or gatherings and social events. As a challenge, what this card is saying is that when you do, be very mindful of, I guess, how you act in a way. The Three of Cups, because it is cups and it's emotions, it can also mean if you get very emotional, and the Three of Cups to me represents drinking as well. So if you get very emotional, if you're going through some difficult, emotional type of turmoil within you, you may be more prone to drinking in social gatherings and drinking a little bit too much and just getting a little bit loose with the mouth, if that's the proper way of saying it. Um, so this, as a challenge, what it's telling you is, just be mindful. Knowing you've had enough drinking, uh, and try the best you can not to overshare, because this is like I said, this is a social gathering, and this, I always connect this with drinking and social drinking. But as a challenge, it can represent, it's definitely representing a challenge for you, and that challenge is just be mindful when you've had enough. And the reason for that is because, we're more, we get to the point where we really don't care when you're that drunk. You're like, this and this happened, and that. And basically, what you're doing is you're just putting your business out there, and that's not a good thing, because other people around you that are not genuinely, there for you may use that against you. Just an advice. So yeah, definitely be very mindful about that. Cancers are, because you guys are a water sign, you guys are prone naturally to, drugs and alcoholism or whatnot. This can also represent as a challenge you having to deal with a family member or someone very close to you that is either an alcoholic, has drinking problems, or is a drug addict as well. Because it's the progression of it with the three, and the one and two coming together to create the three, and so on and so on. This may represent, as a challenge, you may find it challenging, um, if you do in fact have a relative or a loved one or someone near you, very dear to you, that has drinking or alcoholic, sorry, that has a drinking or a drug problem. Then the challenge is just to try the best you can to be there for them and guide them, but at the same way, or at the same time, try the best you can, to not be there. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like, you know, I love you, you need for me. I know you have an issue, but I'd rather you not struggle. So here I am. I'm giving you money, and I know very clearly what I'm going to be using that, what you're going to be using that money for. So basically, it's like try the best you can to be more strict, in that sense. I can't think of the word right now. What is that word? Um, Oh gosh, I totally went blank. But anyways, you know what I mean. Okay, so for the element of water with your love life um, and relationships, you have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is all about sleepless nights, insomnia, just being really depressed and having either confidence issues or having issues, trusting issues more than anything. The Swords is all about mental, it's all about, you know, um, how we communicate or how we process things in our mind. And with the Nine of Swords, perhaps you're going through a difficult situation right now where, like I said, there's endings definitely with the karma and the high priestess. And with the Nine of Swords, there's definitely some type of ending. But more than ending, what it's creating more issues with you mentally, depression, just the feeling of not having control over your life at the present time. For those of you who are in a relationship, the Nine of Swords is definitely. Here's the thing with the Nine of Swords, okay? Because it is a mental card. It's a very heavy mental card to me. Nine of Swords are usually all our fears, okay? Whatever it is that you fear the most, that's what it represents. It represents you not facing your fears, but giving very heavily, you know, thinking about your fears and going to bed thinking about the possibilities of what can go wrong. That's the best way I can explain the Nine of Swords. And when this card comes out in a reading, in relationships, because it is in the love sector, it's like you have all these downs in your head. You've created all these scenarios of why you have the right to doubt or mistrust your loved one. But the Nine of Swords is saying, no, you actually don't have proof. You actually don't have the right to doubt. This is you having or carrying your insecurities and bringing them into the relationship. So with the Nine of Swords, it's all about, basically in a nutshell, what the Nine of Swords is basically it's bringing out and showing, hey, you're having issues with dealing with, an example, love, with dealing with your relationship. And whatever baggages you've carried from your past, you're definitely bringing into your new relationship or the relationship you're currently in. And because of that, you have all these, doubts and all these fears, rising and getting the best of you. It's what it is. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the person you're actually in a relationship with. So, what I mean by that is basically you're worrying about shit that is not even going to happen, or you're drowning yourself in fear of doubts that your mind is creating. And the reason why you're creating is because you've been conditioned that way, whether it's through, past history, whether it's through bad relationships you've been in the past or whatnot. So this is kind of like you're drowning yourself, basically. Um, you're drowning yourself in doubt when you should, try the best you can to mediate and guide your mind into thinking positive instead of negative. Okay. And this is basically what this card represents. Now, for those of you who are not in a relationship, then I can definitely foresee or see that you guys definitely ended a relationship. And the reason why you ended it was because there was a lot of doubts. Now, this in a relationship has to do with you having to deal with your inner fears. When you're in a relationship, current relationship, that definitely with the Nine of Swords either has ended or ended abruptly, like, uh, you just picked up and said, you know what, I'm done, I'm moving on, and you move on. The Nine of Swords, what it's telling me, if, like I said, if you are in a relationship, it's definitely time for you guys to have a sit down and dialogue about where you want this relationship going here on out. And the reason for that is because the Nine of Swords is, like I said, it's a very heavy mental energy. And basically, you're stressing over whatever it is you're going through in your relationship when the other person very clearly is not. This is you carrying all the burden of the relationship to make it work. And I, for once, I'm totally against that. So you need to have a sit down and have a conversation and talk about where your relationship is at right now, where you want your relationship headed. And hey, if you find or come to terms where you both have very different, you know, uh, outcomes, or not outcomes, but have a very different opinions about where you want the relationship going here on out, then sometimes it is best, and this card is calling to either pause or walk away from the situation, and go on your separate ways, basically. Okay, so um, finally, with your also, I do want to mention, because you do have the High Priestess, the Three of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. Um, also, this may also represent you having some type of having to deal with some type of issue that may come about um, throughout the month of, or the midst of October, going into the ending of October. Um, Having to deal with family. If you are in a relationship, then this has to do with you having to deal with family members from your prospective lover or the person you're with. Um, and it may create some type of insomnia and some type of anxiety. And it can be because, beliefs can be very different, or some type of misjudgment or miscommunication from you to them or from them to you. Okay? So they are moving along with your spirit's advice, the spiritual advice for the month of October. You have the Eight of Swords. It's funny, you go from a 9 to an 8. Okay, so the Eight of Swords basically, as a spiritual advice, what it's telling you is, I don't know, I'm not sure if you can see this picture clearly, but it's a woman, and the woman is, she's blindfolded, and she's tied, or there's a rope around her, but it's kind of loose, and there's swords around, and there's a sword in the front. What, again, like I said, with swords is all about the mental. Okay, the Eight of Swords is feeling stuck, feeling like you have no control whatsoever over your life, literally to the point where that's the reason why she's bound. She has absolutely no control over your body. Now, because it's a mental card, this is definitely a representation of how you feel within yourself. Like, you, inside of you, you feel you literally have no control. Okay? Now, I hate seeing this card, and hate is a very strong word, but I do hate seeing this card when I do readings. The reason for it is because it totally goes against everything I believe in, right? Eight of Swords is like I said, you having not control, or feeling not having control over your life. Here's the thing though. If she was to, you know, the rope is loose. She can very easily maneuver her way out of it, and she can very easily take the blindfold off. But the reason why she doesn't is because she feels numb. She feels like that's the situation she's in, and she has to stay in that situation. No, you don't. So, as a spiritual advice, what this card is saying is definitely really look at your situation, or really looking within yourself. Find that courage, find that spark of passion within all of us to create something, or to ignite some type of passion in you that is going to give you the courage and the strength to move forward, and to understand that you always, always have control over every single situation. It's how you react to that situation, okay? And more than anything, it's understanding and coming to the realization that we as human beings have this immense potential to create whatever it is we wish to create in our universe and in our life, our living life. Okay? You always have control over a situation. Now, because you do have two cards of swords, you have the karma card and you have the high priestess. I definitely see it's going to be a heavy month for you cancers, okay? And it probably has to do with a lot of issues, with insecurities from the past and feeling stuck or feeling like you're in a rut, feeling like just things are not moving forward. Now, this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but take it however you want. If you feel you've had blockages and if you feel like you're just not moving forward, take responsibility for that and understand and know that if you've had blockages and you feel stuck, 85% of the 85% of the reason why is because of you. Okay? I said it. Because of you. Because of this 9 of swords. Okay? You are often having negative thoughts. You are down talking yourself and you are just not believing in yourself and you're adding this and adding that and adding that to all the negative thoughts you already have. You're the one creating those blockages. Understand, take responsibility for it. And I guarantee you, the moment you do, your life is going to change completely. That's just the way the universe works. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope it helps you out. It guides you. Comment below, private message me. Let me know what you think of them. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys soon.